welcome to Elite IHP Show with your very own 5D Mystic. Let's chit chat about when you do not stay in stagnating energy. So when your whole self, you take that which you were given, and with the sense of self, of you as an inner child adult, you don't stagnate. So expanding pieces of lovely consciousness are people who own their self. So, like some of the lovely channeled guidance messages that have come from my lovely body, the feminine of me, the masculine, and divine. Sometimes we use those words here, but I use words really. Today it's this, tomorrow it's that. That's the enlightenment soul age group. So the people who are only left brainers, so they don't have an inner child adult because they're not a self with an ego, with harmony. When you meet people who are not whole, they tend to do this thing where they don't forgive, like they're not in favor of unconditional love. Yeah, I know. Somehow, they really think perfection exists somewhere. So, adaptive child behavior patterns, very clear. They also don't think they need therapy, which is why they walk around in the empowerment justice. Yes, with a 16-year-old. So they have superhero capes and supervillain capes. And the supervillain gives them the opportunity when they're in structural dissociation to get on screen, yell. And so here's where twin flame, they will have accused the masculine of a lot of things versus, mind your own business. You do you, masculine does masculine. Oh, I'm a feminine. So I don't stagnate actively. The feminine has this beautiful thing called the heart. So we get to choose when it gets broken, like when I was rejected at my 4 years of age. Oh, what I do? Jesus, tell me what I do. Forgive. Okay. What does it mean? Process the emotions mindfully, because you see them, you feel them. Hug yourself, activate your social engagement system, use your prefrontal cortex. There you go. No stagnation. And so what this is for the feminine is I'm my own masculine. And I'm my own island in the ocean. So we're all part of the same ocean, right? Yeah, I know a lot of people use these words. They don't really embody the forgiveness that I learned. I embody it. But I also embody opinions like anybody else. So I have an ego just like anybody else does. But my ego knows that circumstances in the night, they marry laughing and handsome. And they mirror an invasion of the reflection of trust. The feminine nurtures, which is why the distorted ones, they don't nurture. They're okay with creating, good boy, good girl, let me tap you on the head. So we will walk away a lot from any human being who allows themselves to be treated like that. We'll run away at a certain point. We're thankful we don't have to observe. There's a rabbi who thinks that women / the feminine energy has, what did he say? Oh, that it's painful to start something new. But see, the rabbi, he's a man and a masculine. He's trying not to do gender stereotypes. This is a video I watched. And as he's doing that, he's letting women know, and feminines, that for men and the masculine who has infinite potential, which might I add, I'm thinking, wow, you got infinite potential. Oh, but you need to be captured, contained, and limited. I see. So you want to be a free wild horse that gets captured by a cord, and basically humans make you your, okay, I'm not going to use that word, but you get the gist, right? Okay, so this is how a empowered feminine will equate what I just heard from this rabbi. Hard to commit. Well, some women are polyamory, so you don't really need to commit if you're interested, especially in, spreading your semen or whatever. So I could use all the gender stereotypes and actively let any of you watching know there's more to the story. Yeah, the ego is really blind. It's unfortunate business for distorted masculines and distorted feminines, because I do know the embodiment of the true masculine. Yes, they're quite amazing. They know how to trust. They know how not to be stubborn asses, like jackasses. So with that being said, remember, we have society. So the people who are letting themselves be basically treated like pieces of garbage, they could use Patrick Tiahan. He shares with all childhood trauma survivors his biggest regret. It's that his childhood trauma made him unkind. He lived a bunch of relationships that were really not healthy self-worth at all. And, well, one of the biggest, if not number one signs of childhood trauma in one of these interviews, he said, was when people basically want to ensure that a person that's treating them like a piece of shit says, I love you. So they'll stick to any of those relationships because that's what the shame cycle does. That's what the first 3 years of your life, very important. So if you didn't have that empowered capacity to be a differentiated self, I did. I'm lucky. I got that. So I know what it's like to be my own hierophant. Means that I dictate what Maria thinks and feels. You know why I got that? Because, well, I could say because I'm a feminine, but I don't have to do that. I can use Robert Sapolsky. Can use sciences. He has a qualitative, I believe, analysis in his book Determined on how those first years of life determine your foundation. My foundation is that I have a human being who allowed me to be the child-centric environment. So all my emotions, all of everything, totally cool, okay? So when that happens, guess what you get? You get a good relationship with emotions, so wisdom comes about every time emotions come up. Thought and emotions are friends, so my ego and self are friends. And I process, and then I see beauty. And that's why the feminine achieves intelligence and open-heartedness quite easily because we're not broken-hearted. Don't break my heart. So when I was 4, I got rejected. I got brokenhearted, and then I got like disowned and a lot more things. Just saying. So subjective experience here. That's why determined is important, because if you say, how are my first years of life? Okay, I got it. I know why I don't have those childhood wounds of rejection, abandonment, injustice, betrayal, humiliation, or shame, where I let people treat me like a piece of shit and say, cool, keep yelling at me. Do more to make me into a real person. So whenever I hear any of the people who say, no, yelling at me in my face and basically dehumanizing me is a good thing, it makes me strong. What's happening to humanity? They're going soft. That's when we know, okay, we got people who want to lead their life in modulated, embodied self-experiences. It's okay. They don't all have to want to be intelligence. They can be left-brainers and allow themselves to armor themselves shut in. And again, let's be compassionate, leave them alone. They won't like us. Because remember, imagine someone doubting a kind person and going into allowing themselves to be treated. I personally have seen this. Like, it's not even a joke. They'll be like, you're not real. Love's not real. You're a fako. You're an evil bitch, evil witch. I know it because you're a mystic. They haven't said it to my face, but I do know there are people who are scared of me. I'm like, wow, really? I'm 4'9". How are they scared of me? And it's because I don't judge people. Yeah, I know, right? Essentially, what I am presenting is a feminine, my body, heart, with a masculine, my mind. Okay, so twin flame, that is a bonus, like twin flames. They help us to expand to more. Again, 4'9", people are scared of me. So another one of my lovely body messages, I love this one too. I love them all. Candlelight illuminates damage beneath the feet with wave of lights that come from the heart of the sky. You all know this, the ones of you who tune in. The love force that made all creation possible. It does not know good or bad like our brain. Our brain doesn't know good or bad. Your neuroplasticity agent, the imagination, so the words you use when emotions come up, which is why if you don't see beauty, you're not tapping into the intelligence that you can be, and the wisdom. So to be able to have wisdom, though, you need to own your sense of self. So masculines and distorted feminines, they don't. Masculines have the opportunity to own the mind, so to allow ego and self to be friends, but they deny themselves emotions. So you see that usually they will have a number of opportunities before they then hit rock bottom. And then if they really want, they awaken to an open heart. And I have seen it's a 50-50 thing. Yeah, so whether twin flame or not doesn't matter, because you will notice that those who don't love to be who they are, just the way they are, yeah, Patrick Tiahan, he's pretty correct when he says if they don't have the will to heal, well, they won't get their emotional body online. Don't get the feminine. Don't grieve the first 3 years of their life, which was denied to them, to have a child-centric environment. So to become completely aware of, wow, I don't know how to regulate my nervous system. My trauma didn't make me strong. It made me go out with people who treated me like a piece of shit. Wow, you know what? I love that I have good therapists that I can work with to get to earn secure attachment. And then we see people instead on YouTube saying things like this: I'm an avoidant attachment. Because you're picking on avoidance, I've decided I'm going to talk about being an avoidant. And you know, I have done therapy. And I've gone more than once in my down moments, but they say I'm doing a good job. And then they tell me to do this mindfulness and meditation and journaling, but I don't want to. And really, people are fucked up, so why should I? Well, because I guess your therapist didn't explain it well. When you get your body and your heart and your mind in alignment, and you work to unlearn maladaptive and adaptive child pattern of behaviors, which are not you regulating in your homeostasis, means you're dysregulated, so your suffering body and heart, it's in your benefit to put into practice what your therapists share. And you don't have to pay them if you feel you're good without them, but the journaling and mindfulness helps the core self of you, the solo self, the narrative relational, to become one. And well, your nervous system to know it's social engagement system. So the answer is pretty clear. It's like, I don't want to do my exercises for scoliosis, but I have to. Even if it's minimal, just a little bit will be better. But if I do them more, then I know I'm going to be a champ, because I can get old and be less decrepit, or whatever the word is. So, I mean, there's pretty straightforward answer, unless you find that the truth is boring. And, let's see. I'll use me. I like to use me because I'm totally flawed and imperfect in all ways, shapes, and forms as a smoker. Smoking's going to give you cancer. Well, not really. That's not necessary. There are studies that show me that it won't, but, I get what you're saying. So, FYI, long story short, smoking, inhaling smoke that will go to my lungs, well, I'm not going to say it's not a smart thing. I'm going to say that I'm good with moderation. But I'm going to say, objectively speaking, anybody who says I'm stupid, I'll take it. It's not offensive. You're correct. Anyone who wants to exaggerate and start looking at me like I'm a piece of shit, I'm going to ignore you, because you're a rigid, unforgiving, and really an adaptive child pattern of yourself, which means you're a teenager, which means you're a Cuscos. I have no respect. No, I have respect. I have to. This thing called God taught me how to be humble. And I'm a child who listens to the truth, because I know what pure hearts do. I make mistakes too. Candlelight illuminates damage beneath the feet with wave of lights. Yeah, I didn't walk in their feet one day, so I get it. I'm not determined their way. That's what humble is. It's called, I don't know what you've done in your life or what you've been through, so I will not be in any way, shape, or form casting stones. Okay, so with that, that's intelligence, feminine, masculine. This is the part of why our twin flame, whether they come into our life or not, we're already spiritually awakened, the feminine. Masculines, no. It's once they have a twin flame. Spiritual, distorted women, meaning feminines, it depends. As a feminine, what I can tell you about the distorted feminines is they're all equal to masculine, because they're leading with their ego. So they're a person who doesn't know how to regulate their nervous system. Automatically, you're not going to be online with your whole self. Your right mode's not being used. You go into structural dissociation. I'm attachment trauma informed. I should mention that. So as long as you don't know how to unconsciously love or forgive, you don't know how to be your feminine, because you don't know an open heart. When things go, well, let's see, when people throw shit in your face, you don't know how to be intelligent. So this is where the people throwing shit in your face is like this. What other people say about you doesn't matter, but you should not be ashamed of what you have done. Integrity. Some of us have integrity because we do have this thing called secure attachment and a whole self and a whole differentiated self. So mystic or not, what I have to share with you is it's not impressive to me any of those who have trauma, charges, childhood developmental trauma. It's not a competition. I've seen how many flaunt, I'm going to say this way, and also their attributes versus going to good therapists, but I have also seen the bad therapists, like the bad holistic spiritual mystics who say don't go to therapy. So the group of professionals who don't care to empower you with information, but they care to bring forth their own empowerment, justice, step forward to healing trauma and trust breaks is getting bystanders to take your side. Peter Pans have a lot of lost boys, lost girls. Every ear goes to who they want to. So people who are still listening here, they're into saying, yeah, you know what? I authentically know that humanity keeps on expanding. It's amazing. And mystics or not, we know secure attachment. So we know forgiveness, because you don't say, I forgave on screen. I've learned how to get out. These tones, they get my heart, and it's Kali mode. I have a Kali mode, a Shiva, and Krishna Lila. I know how to get Krishna Lila in the door. It's called my social engagement system. So AKA, I bring it all together. And I learned about Krishna Lila, Shiva, and Kali stories from Sadhguru. So you can go to his website to find out more. And no, not because I have them in, like, you know, any of my rooms. No, I don't know anything about them except for I know what Sadhguru has shared of stories, and then I can equate them to my lovely embodied brain. Krishna Lila is Maria in her prefrontal cortex, which is pretty much always. I chose to use Krishna Lila with a word every time I think of the other word, which I really don't think of it at all. So when Kali comes up, Shiva comes in the door, and then Krishna Lila, so that I can recalibrate myself to be Pacha, but not just Pacha. I'm going to be interested, because see, I know this from Jesus and God, also humbleness. So I'm busy being Maria, while you can be busy doing whatever and whoever you want and doing any of the stupid shit that people who are distorted do. It's unfortunate. Again, they have a way to heal. They just don't want to go, because they say, I found it hard to believe them first 2 years of life means shit. It's like, yeah, well, it does, but you know what? I'm not going to balance you out. So the feminine, this one, we balance ourselves out because I got lucky. I have a secure attachment body, differentiated 3-year-old self, Jesus and God, and humble. And then I made my conscious choice as a social system adolescent says, okay, grown-ups are right. Teenagers, really not pleasant to be around. And then you get older and find out that they're still unpleasant, because the 16-year-old of any person is leading the way when they're acting like a Cusco. So the wisdom for the 5D collective as our eclipse comes around is that feminine and masculine together are the wisdom of you accepting yourself with flaws and imperfections, continuing to pursue inner growth versus stagnating like the other people do. And we get busy with things we enjoy. So we don't get busy with things that we don't enjoy. Okay, so people who know what life is, it's a meaningful life because you have heart open connections and you invest your time in the subject matters that are interesting. It's why the attachment coaches, they don't do a really great job, some of them, at enticing their patients and clients to move into earned secure attachment. They say, secure attachment is really boring. No, that's your well-being. You using the word boring is like saying, I'm not going to motivate you to get home to your actual self and wisdom. Are you really sure you're a coach? I'm not sure you're a coach, because if you were a coach, then you would know of lovely Dr. Daniel Siegel as he shares what integration of the brain and how amazing it is. Integration made visible is kindness and compassion. This road to integration can be incredibly energizing because what you're doing and helping is someone heal, and it brings out into the world the love and connection that is the birthright for all of us. Life as we move together to create more integration in our world. So when you're a feminine with your own masculine, again, twin flame or not, and twin flames, the ability to accept the ego and the shame, blame, fault, revenge, low self-esteem, passive-aggressive, indirect communication, boundaries, they don't know them, they block, cancel, unfriend you, go silent. I mean, all these fancy words that people use, the ghosting, the gaslighting, they're fancy because to a person who's empowered inside, you're going to notice what's happening. You're going to say, what's up? Then you're going to not get answers. You're going to make choices without involving anyone who's not answering what's going on because you're proactive. It's a feminine with a masculine. It's not because we learned how to make it on our own and we need to have some man or woman open our door. A healthy self-worth, securely attached human being, self-empowered, come for true mindfulness and true spirituality. It's really empowering, by the way. But the mantles, they wear these superhero and supervillain capes. So you see them getting into their structural dissociation. They also have no ears because they don't hear themselves talk. They have no interest in who they are. So they hear what others say, but when they're speaking, they're not noticing. When I hear myself, I try to, but I like to have those who speak to me, I get to hear them and say, wait a minute, is that? Yes, okay, good. Yes, so thank you so much. So the smart masculines, they're really great because they help me to stay equanimous, and I've asked them to keep me equanimous. And that's not men, it's masculines. So they will have an eye and an ear and a heart open for our herd, the human one. So it's not twin flames, by the way. They are choice points like we are. Once they choose fear, the unfaced, so shame, blame, fault, revenge, the fucking, the drinking, the drugging, making money, the 3D, quote unquote, it's not 3D, it's just a person who does meaninglessness stuff. So they really could use a good therapist so they could get the sense of self online. This is any of the masculines, it's not just twin flames. The soulmates for me are different because, again, twin flames, they will present to you the opportunity to become more of you. Soulmates will show you how what you are doing is actually something that they're doing too. It's really always expanding. So, again, integration made visible. It is energizing because your social engagement system and your left and right work together. So, as Sadhguru shares, the most precious thing is life itself. Will you realize this now or only on your deathbed? Masculines tend to have to hit rock bottom first. It's unfortunate business, but they choose it because they will be presented more than one, as you heard from today's stories, like my friend, let's see, 1, 2, 3 or 4. And they're in the relationship soul age group, locked in and loaded and societal, and they're happy. But their energy is, as they stagnate in what is their karma wheel, because their 0 to 8-year-old, what plays out. Their 16-year-old is leading the way, so that's why the external will be like, oh, but they're like Hangover movie or Mean Girls. Yes, that's the point. Not an expanding piece of consciousness like the Zen master who has laundry when he does emotions, or somebody who gets out of good therapy and says, I don't want to do personal development, self-help, I want life now. But if you present it to them fancy enough, oh, guess what, neuroscience executive, that doesn't make them anything expanded. It just makes them one focused. We'll notice the difference. The intelligent human beings who embody pure consciousness. Yes, come on over. The 5D frequency, it's not just a frequency. Enlightenment, not just a frequency. It's basically where you're empowered, enlightened. You're just like, wow, I want more tomorrow. And that's even without having anyone around you. Like right now, I just did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm sharing with human beings what it's like to be themselves in a flow state. Like the neuroscientists, the smart ones share, not the ones who don't try it out. You get to have selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, richness. So when you're in a flow state and you're a straight shooter, so it's just on, you don't turn it off. Why would I turn off my heart? Why would I turn off my mind? Why would I turn myself off from this? Are you kidding me? I'm going to keep it on all the time, not just sometimes. And that's what some of us do. So it's like pure bliss, except for when, of course, we're adapting. Sometimes there's that part of where there's big ascension energies. So we get to adapt a little bit. But I wanted to read to you another Daniel Siegel quote. Who is in a role as a secure attachment figure for this individual? So for anybody, when you're a secure attachment figure, which is a 5D frequency, that's why we support to heal trauma. And that's one person at a time, and in our relationships. So people who welcome their self back home, twin flames or not. And again, the masculines, twin flames, they don't welcome themselves back home. That's why they reject their feminines. They reject love. They choose the unfaced fear. They choose the money from Stromboli. They choose to get treated like piece of shit. They don't notice this, by the way. This is the part. They will put people on pedestals. It's called, if you do good therapy, then you'll figure it out. Because then you'll own your sense of self and finally be like, oh, wow, I can regulate my nervous system. I can use my brain and my mind. I'm me. Wow, finally, thank you so much, therapist. You got me to own me. And then it's, do I want to do more of it? No, I want life now. So some people do that. Others say, you know what? Yeah, I do. I do want to do more of it because I like to do emotions like a grown-up and to mature and to have true love and to have romance and to actually know how to speak with my mouth and my heart and be aligned. This is the beauty of our lovely future. I love it. It's amazing. We don't need belief systems. We have sciences, the smart therapists, the neuroscientists, neurobiologists. I love faith. I come with faith. I am spiritual. But I know that I'm not needed, nor is anyone else. It's the last life of Sadhguru. And the people who don't accept it, it's because they don't understand what science has proven and what it will continue to prove. There is goodness within the heart of every person. Your first year of life, your second, your third. These implicit memories, they matter. That's why determined, it may be qualitative, it still matters. We don't need stories about demons or devils or fallen angels from the sky. We have the answers of how every person can become their homeostasis, to regulate their nervous system, have heaven in the body. They won't all choose it, but they have the option. That's the free will. We have the educational material, we have the good therapist material, we have all of it. We also have the other ones. I mean, 97% of what is out there is unavailable to scientists, so let alone, I mean, the mystics out here, you know, we're totally good. Scientists, they chase each other down the hallways. For spirituality people, some people just say, those are Luciferians because they're New Age and they're not telling things the way that they should. Because so basically when people don't know their human identity, they like to take on cloaks and mantles again. It's spiritual bypassers. To me and anyone of faith, they're disrespecting our ancestors because it's the year 2024. Stop playing the role of also, it's an energetic relational field. So you don't need to be thinking of it as just, you know, the embodying of that. Long story short, let me leave that to another conversation as we finish. So secure attachment figures for people, it means that you can be a source of soothing, so safe haven for someone, where they will be able to calibrate to their social engagement system, which is really nice because their body gets to, oh my gosh, I'm so comfortable right now. If they know about their fear of that, they're resolving it. So they say, it's cool, don't worry, I don't want to run away. I'm good here. So when people are working with therapists, like my masculine 5D mystic friend is, He knows I want to run away for this, but I want to stick around because I'm working to heal, to be a person who lives a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. I want to build meaningful life. He's been humbled, so he knows I'm going to find my next sweet spot. And I want one human being or two or three, depends if they're monoamory or polyamory, to be with me. I want a open heart, depth, vulnerable relationship, not the just fucking random human beings with drugs and alcohol in the room and then doing shit that doesn't mean anything, which there are people who believe that's the highlight of their life. It's really sad again, but again, we have time. So when you are a secure attachment figure, you provide safe haven, and then for others, you also provide the secure base, which means that they feel comfortable. Even though the world is not safe, they can be out exploring their interests, doing what they want to do. And so they are going to feel less distressed thanks to you. And that's with therapist or no therapist. So again, people who are safe, haven, secure base for each other, they know how to sit and stand in that presence here. And together we attune and we regulate to our social engagement system, and we sit calmly like our ancestors did. Polyvagal theory, Dr. Stephen Porges still working on his data. But that's the minute when we're attuning, I will start speaking. And then you're going to resonate. Or you're going to say, no, I think you're using the wrong words, Maria. You're not getting what I'm saying. And then we're going to recalibrate him because we're functional adults and you trust and I trust. So we're two pachas. Okay, and even if it's a pacha and a Cusco, I still trust because I'm expanding. And so the secure base and safe haven is that we do learn to go out and explore the world together. And we don't dissociate. I don't know clinical dissociation. The regular one that we all have is basically driving down a hallway. Dr. Daniel Siegel shared this one. And you imagine your trip to Hawaii and you miss your exit. Clinical dissociation looks different and feels different. I've been around people who are offline. They don't notice it. I do. I present it. They don't care to go to get therapy so that they can disengage from doing that. They are more busy with living life in a very different way. We'll get to that. So life as we move together to create more integration in our world, and that is because more integration means more intelligence. So masculine and feminine, when they are together, they know what forgiveness is and their quest to be their whole self and the wisdom of the body and of self-acceptance with self-love and integrity and growth, and not stagnating energy because you choose to stay within those parameters that you got as you're growing up that don't represent what you are. Okay, so twin flame and or flames, the only ones who get awakened are the people who are not healthy self-worth and whole selves. So there are definitely a number of individuals that I can say I've noticed are masculines, then they know about their twin flames. And so the feminine of their twin flame journey is not putting their heart to the side. See, so the masculines, they don't do the heart business, they do the mind business until they choose to do the heart. Feminine does the heart business, and with the mind, they recognize and organize and realize what's going on. So for the 5D collective, there's no saga or drama, but that's because of us owning that healthy self-worth. So with masculine, feminine on board, and you being a whole self, and you being able to unconditionally love, you get to keep moving forward as the eclipse energies come about. This is really fun to notice harmony and harmonization, and obviously for the twin flames that come together, it's always amazing. There are plenty of emotions. Some people say they're not. Those people don't know what the connection is all about. But then again, it's because they, well, we'll leave it for another episode. But thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. See you again soon.